Hello friends, welcome back to Cosmopolitan Cornbread. This is just a quick little video that I'm going to be sharing today. I have had so many people asking me about how I do this tie specifically with my scarves. And so I thought, well, I have done a video with a couple different tutorials in it, but I haven't done this exact one. So I'm just going to show you how I do this one. So let me bring you up here a little bit. So you can see it's got like the tie or the veil kind of that comes down in the back. We've got a little bit of a poof right here on the top. And so I'm just going to show how I do this one. All right, so I raised up the camera a little bit so that you can see this a little bit better. Let me pull my rings off real quick. Anytime I'm messing with scarves, tying them, folding them, doing whatever I'm doing, I always take my rings with stones off because I don't want the prongs to snag any of my scarves. So let me undo this here real quick and I'll show you how to do this specific tie. It's super easy, y'all. I don't do anything too complicated because I consider myself still pretty much a novice at doing scarf tying. All right, so first of all, I've got a shaper on. I always wear something like this, whether it's the headband or the shaper. I find these shapers to be super easy because they're these little elastic caps, but they have the velvet in there so that your scarves don't slide off your head and everything stays exactly where you want it. I'll put a link to this in the video description down below if you would like to check that out. All right, so the scarf that I have here is a long rectangle scarf, and I have it folded in half the long way, making it long and narrow. And the way I'm folding it is I want to make sure that it fits from the top of my head where the scarf will begin right around to just underneath where it is at the back. And so if the scarf is a little bit narrow, you would kind of adjust where your fold line is just to have enough to reach back there. Now I'm going to be putting this with one side a little bit longer than the other, as you can see here. Not a huge difference, but a little bit. And it doesn't matter which side is longer than the other. That'll just determine which part you do which with, but I'll show you that in a minute. All right, so I'm going to put on my scarf and I'm going to use my little screen here as a bit of a mirror. I'm going to line the top with my shaper here so that it is covered. Throw those to the back. And then I'm just going to take the two tails and I'm going to tie them together. Okay. And I'm pulling it snug but not tight. I don't like anything too tight on my head. It gives me headaches. All right, so I'm going to take both sides here and I'm just going to kind of spread them out and then fold them in just to kind of give it a nice tidy look when I tie it. Do the same with this side. And you don't have to do it like this. You can just gather it up any way you want to, but I just find this makes it look a little bit tidier. All right, so now I'm going to take the two sides and I'm going to bring them up. Let me come back in here again. I'm going to bring them up, and the longer one I'm going to leave in the front, and the shorter one is going to come up and over and through like that. So that when you get done, it'll kind of want to do this where the long one comes forward and the short one goes back. Okay, I'm going to take the longer one and I'm just going to throw it to the back there, up and over. Then I'm going to grab the shorter piece and I'm going to go across the long one, and I'm going to take this end and right here where the scarf came up to tie at the top, I'm just going to take this short piece and I'm going to tuck it in there underneath. Just like that. And then the longer one that is hanging in the back is right here in the front where I had flipped it over, and I'm just going to take that and I'm just going to fluff it up a little bit and just give it a little bit of a poof. And then I can take the tail end, kind of spread it out, fluff it out a little bit in the back, and that's it, y'all. So Super easy. This is the one I've been doing a lot this time of year. It's hotter outside. It keeps everything off of my neck, which is nice when you live in the South and you are a woman of a certain age and heat is not your friend. And so having everything up and off of my neck and still being tidy and kept together, this has been my current go-to tie. Now, when it comes to these wraps and the way you tie all of them, they actually all have names, cute little names. I have no idea what most of the names are, but this is the one that brings it up, has a veil, and a little poof on top, which the poof is optional. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. You can just put it across, cinch it down with the short piece, and leave it as it is, but it's totally up to you. There's no right and wrong way. It's really, when it comes to these head coverings, head scarves, however you tie it, if you like it, that's all that matters. So that is it for today, y'all. That's all I had for you. Again, I had received so many questions about this specific style of tying that I thought I would just do a quick little video since, you know, people were asking for it. I will put a link in the video description down below where I have another video where I show 3 different ways of tying scarves that are also very beginner friendly, super easy to do. Like I said, I don't do complicated ones. I generally keep them pretty simple. I have done some more advanced versions with 2 scarves, but that's a very rare occasion where I do something like that. And I also get a lot of questions about where I get my scarves, where I get the velvet headbands and the shapers and things like that. And all of the shapers, headbands, and everything come from Rapunzel, as well as almost all of the scarves that I have. I do have a few that came from another website, but almost every scarf that I own, easily 99% of them, all came from Rapunzel. And I will put a link to the shaper that I have on, the headbands that I've mentioned, as well as if this scarf is still available, I'll put a link to that in the video description down below as well. So with that, thanks for spending a little bit of time here in the kitchen with me. God bless y'all, and I'll talk to you next time.